Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Power Couple. I'm Danny.
And I'm Philia, and today we're focusing on Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. Now, this is a Wii U release that has had a lot of mixed reviews from Nintendo fans, from Amiibo fans, and even from Animal Crossing fans.
Yeah, we are big fans of Animal Crossing ourselves, and I mean, we've sunk in so many hours into those games that I think I do more chores in those games in real life.
I think he just might.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Even I can admit that I have spent countless of beautiful sunny days in my Animal Crossing town catching bugs and fishing when I probably could have been outside doing that stuff in real life, but I don't regret a minute of it.
Yeah. But with all this fandom, we were really skeptical when they first announced Amiibo Festival at E3, and we remained skeptical even up until we purchased it on launch day.
Yeah, we did.
But we've gotten some months to play it, and we've gone through the board game and the mini games, and this is our full review of Amiibo Festival.
So since there's so much to cover, we've decided to do this review in two parts. Right here, we're going to focus on everything that has to do with the mini games.
Now, if you want to just see the board game part of our review, you can do so by jumping to the link by clicking our Amiibo collection down there and checking it out.
So if you're all ready, why don't we all grab our cup of Brewster's Finest from the Roost and get ready to jump right into all the mini games that Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival has to offer.
Now, there are a few things we have to mention before we begin. First, you do need an Animal Crossing Amiibo to get past the start screen. Your non-Animal Crossing Amiibo and your Animal Crossing cards will not work. Even the Villager Amiibo will only unlock an in-game trophy and will not function like the rest of your Animal Crossing collection. Luckily, Isabelle and Digby are currently bundled with the game.
Once you tap your Animal Crossing Amiibo to the gamepad, the train takes your character to the main lobby. Now, our lobby is fully upgraded with all of the minigames already unlocked. We also filled it in with some of our favorite Animal Crossing villagers, which we brought in by scanning their respective cards.
Now, another note we must make is that when you start up Amiibo Festival for the first time, you will not be seeing that lobby, and instead, your figures will be traveling directly to the board game.
And you will have to play that board game at least once in order to get to your lobby of minigames. And since most of those minigames do need to be unlocked using tickets that you've won by playing that board game, you won't have full access to everything from the start.
Now, these minigames range from fun to frustrating, and we're going to be going over each one in our personal order from our least favorite all the way to our most favorite.
And of course, if your order is different, let us know what you think in the comments.
Now, before we begin, we want to give a special shout out to Reddit user MJAdams85 for gifting us these awesome Nana and Gabby Amiibo cards.
These are our absolute favorite villagers of all time. We've already brought them into Happy Home Designer and built them beautiful homes and brought them into Amiibo Festival Town. I really do love my Nana.
And I love Gabby, so thank you, Mike, for being so awesome.
Now, these cards are super crucial to the game because your Amiibo figures actually aren't playable in anything other than the board game.
For example, the Isabelle card will register differently than your Isabelle Amiibo figure, but luckily, Amiibo Festival comes bundled with 3 special edition Animal Crossing cards. Now, the only snag is that you will have to buy more cards since 2 of the minigames require 6 cards to play.
So, without further ado, let's jump right into all of the minigames of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
Now, we're going to start with the number 8 spot, my least favorite, Resetti Bop.
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 So are you guys ready for a pro tip? Any of your cards that you plan on using in Amiibo Festival, definitely put them in top loaders.
Resetti Bop will be the minigame. You'll be thankful for that advice.
What boils down to a game of rock, paper, scissors, Resetti Bop is a single-player minigame. You must use the corresponding signs on each of the 3 Animal Crossing Amiibo cards to beat the signs that pop up on the Resetti balloons.
This is where the insanity comes in. Now, you must not only keep track of the signs on your 3 character cards and keep track of the signs on the Resetti balloons, but you are then expected to quickly shuffle through the cards, find the correct card, and tap to the gamepad to score points.
Although this is a single player game, we played this one a little differently. We did 2 players where I controlled 1 card and Danny controlled the other 2. And still we found it frustratingly difficult toward the end when multiple balloons quickly come and go, making you slam your cards down onto the gamepad.
Trust us on this. You will have more fun playing an actual game of rock, paper, scissors with your friends, and your cards will thank you for it.
That is so true. So now that you've seen Danny's least favorite, let's check out mine. The 7th slot goes to Amiibo Card Battle. I really don't understand this one.
It's a tedious game and not one we've come back to much besides just for this review. Amiibo Card Battle is a multiplayer minigame that requires you to use 6 Animal Crossing Amiibo cards to play. Each turn you must select a card from the group, and once your opponent selects their card, the 2 cards will go head to head and the card with the higher dice number wins the round. But if the astrological sign on your card matches the one on screen for that turn, the rules reverse and the lower number will win the round.
See, it really doesn't make that much sense at all. I still don't get it. But the one good thing I could probably say about it is that at least it uses the dice and the astrological symbol that you find on every card.
Well, now that we have our least favorites out of the way, it's time to move up the list to the next spot. Our next minigame is Fruit Path.
Fruit Path is another multiplayer game, but unlike Amiibo Battle, it only requires 3 or less cards to play. Using an Amiibo card, you move the amount of spaces shown on that card's dice to pick up fruit and avoid pitfalls. If you do manage to fall in a pit, you will lose half of your fruit. And at the end of 3 turns, the person with the most fruit wins.
The fact that the pitfalls are random, where some drop you and some don't, makes this game less about skill and more about luck.
Honestly, we really haven't played this game much since we bought the game.
We really haven't. But we're gonna move on to our number 5 spot, Acorn Chase.
This is another single player minigame where you must choose 3 different Amiibo cards to play.
You tap each card to the gamepad to move your team of villagers to the corresponding spaces on the grid. Collect all of the acorns to open the exit and escape, but make sure you do so before the corner card takes you down.
Due to the frantic nature of tapping the cards quickly, we sometimes run into the issue where the NFC reader either registers your tap as 2 moves or not even register it at all. You find yourself having to quickly fix those mistakes, and it could end up costing you the game.
Now, similar to Resetti Bop, we played this one 2 players where we split the cards between us. But unlike Resetti Bop, this one was actually fun to play.
It really was. So moving forward, let's check out our number 4 spot, Balloon Island.
Now, this is a minigame that can be enjoyed both single player and multiplayer.
The goal of this game is to guide your villager to land safely on a floating island to score as many points as you can. You just hold your Animal Crossing Amiibo card to the NFC reader to make the character hover over the moving island. Once you remove the card from the gamepad, your villager releases the balloons and drops from the sky, bouncing back and forth between popping balloons.
Depending on where you let go of the balloons, you can do really well and land on the center space to get the higher score, but sometimes if you let go too soon, you can miss the island completely.
This is actually a cute and silly little minigame that's a lot more fun than some of the other tedious ones that we've gone over before.
Absolutely. I mean, we've talked about this before, that this would have been a great addition into the Amiibo Festival board game if it had been created with more of a Mario Party style to it.
Actually, now that you talk about it, a lot of these would have been great if the game was set up like that. But we'll talk more about that in part 2.
Ooh, okay, so are you guys ready for our number 3 spot, a little mystery?
You gotta say it a little bit more mysterious than that.
Oh, okay. You guys ready for a little mystery?
Ooh, I got chills.
Ooh, thank you. I've been taking acting classes.
I mean, it's cold in here. Anywho, how about we go to our number 3 spot, Mystery Campers.
Similar to Amiibo Card Battle, Mystery Campers is the other minigame that requires 6 cards to play.
You start off by choosing 6 Amiibo cards. 4 of the 6 villagers will hide in the tents, and throughout the process of elimination and plenty of trial and error, you must figure out which villager is sleeping in which tent.
For each of the 4 tents, you must tap the card of the character you think is inside. And at the end of each turn, you will be told how many you've guessed correctly, incorrectly, or were off by 1.
It's a really fun and challenging little minigame, and we've actually come back to play it quite a few times since we first unlocked it.
Sometimes we can do it in just a few turns, and sometimes it takes us a lot longer. But it's more of a puzzle type game than the other minigames we've discussed so far, and it's a lot of fun.
It really is. Now, how much do you know about your Animal Crossing trivia? It's time to put ourselves to the test in Animal Crossing Quiz Show.
The Animal Crossing Quiz Show is a great party minigame that supports 1 to 4 players.
You can tap any Animal Crossing amiibo card to the gamepad to register them as your playable characters. We chose to play as our favorites, Nana and Gabby, of course.
But be warned, these questions can be tough. They range from the simple, which type of public works project is this, to spotting the fake artwork out of 8 different art pieces.
It's also worth noting that this is the only minigame that allows you to use your Animal Crossing amiibo figures. At any time, you can tap to call that character for some extra help with those really hard questions.
But make sure you tap an amiibo that would be an expert on the topic, like Blathers for the museum-related questions, or KK for the musical questions.
The quiz show is great, but there's one thing that knocks it out of the top spot, and that's horrible controls.
The biggest problem with the controls is that you must not only tap your card to buzz in, but you must also wait until the in-game spotlight is over your character before you can even tap, or else you'll forfeit your turn if it was over someone else instead.
There were so many times I would know the answer and just have to sit there hovering my card over the gamepad, waiting until I was allowed to buzz in.
Tapping the cards to answer questions quickly also ensures that you'll be crashing your cards into each other and possibly damaging them, especially with 4 players eager to play.
It's a shame this game isn't set up just a little bit differently. If we could have maybe used a Wii remote as a controller to buzz in rather than having to constantly tap your amiibo cards, it would have made a really great party game where Animal Crossing fans could go head to head.
Now, don't get us wrong, we really do love the quiz show. You get to play your favorite villagers and answer some really cool questions and learn about the world of Animal Crossing. The control scheme is bad, but it won't get into the way of having fun as much as you might think.
That's very true. Now, I have a little question for you. What's our number 1 minigame?
Ooh, I know.
What is it?
Desert Island Escape.
You got it! This is by far our favorite minigame of the whole bunch, and even though it's a single player minigame, we always play it together and strategize together.
Now you start out by picking 3 villagers from your Animal Crossing amiibo card collection, and in this minigame, these 3 villagers will find themselves stranded on a desert island. Now you must utilize their individual skills, find the missing supplies, build a raft, and escape before time and rations run out.
Now the one really cool thing that we love about this minigame is the fact that each character has a different trait, which means that dogs can sniff out items in the spaces around them, cats can fish without needing fishing rods, and mice can build tunnels to get further spaces away. So really, picking your 3 characters to go along with you is the first step in this amazing strategy game.
There are many hazards on the island you will face, like pitfalls that you can fall into and lose your turn, or creatures who will stand in your path looking for a fight.
To avoid these obstacles, you will have to spin the wheel and hope to land on the positive space to overcome what's standing in your way. However, if you're unsuccessful, you will face the consequences.
Another great feature of this game is that you can use items you found along your journey and build tools that can help you.
One example is using the stick and rock to create a shovel. This is a great tool because rather than falling into the pitfalls, you can dig them up and move them to another space.
You can also build slingshots to battle enemies, fishing poles to catch fish, or nets to help shoo away bees.
Do not try that one at home, kids. Cookie is crazy. I come from a beekeeping family and I can tell you that is not how that would go down.
Food is another important thing to keep your eye on. Depending on your team size, you will consume a certain amount of food each day. But by catching fish and shaking fruit trees, you can add to your rations. However, if you run out of food, the game is over.
You also have a time limit to beat as well. There are a set amount of days that you can stay on the island. The earlier set of stages gives you 7 days to escape. The later, more difficult stages increases that to 9.
However, if you and your team can overcome the obstacles and find the raft pieces, you'll escape the island and return to civilization.
In the end, the game will tally up your score. You earn points for how much of the island you've explored, how much food you have remaining, and how many days you have left on the island.
Your total score will go into that particular map's leaderboards for your friends and family to try and beat. It's nice because it'll show you not only the top scores for each map, but also which villagers were used to get that score.
So like we said before, this is definitely our favorite minigame of the entire bunch because unlike the others, there's tons of strategy, tons of challenges, and has a lot of replay value here.
Now, we could have seen this go along the same lines as Captain Toad had done, where we could see a larger game created from this one mini game alone. It is that much fun.
It really, really is. I hope you guys play it. Well, so now that we've gone over all the mini games that Amiibo Festival has to offer, how about we go to the review board?
Okay, first off, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival offers a large variety of different types of minigames.
And a lot of those minigames can be enjoyed either in single player or in multiplayer.
What's really cool is bringing in your favorite villagers via the Animal Crossing Amiibo cards and using them as playable characters. I love playing as Gabby.
And I love playing as Nana. The only thing that does suck is the fact that it forces you to get more Animal Crossing cards just to access everything that's in the minigames.
Yeah, and another real bummer is that all the Animal Crossing Amiibo figures you own don't do anything in the minigames except briefly in Quiz Show.
But the great thing is, the highlight of all these minigames really is Desert Island Escape. This one is full of content, you can use strategy and enjoy it by yourself or with a friend.
It's just a real shame that the other minigames don't follow suit. They really don't have much content to them and they require a lot more luck than skill.
And we do have to consider the sloppy control scheme. The fact that it forces you to keep tapping your Amiibo cards makes it a little bit dangerous that you might mess them up a little bit.
Yeah, well, now that we've gone over everything, it's time for our final verdict.
So if you're thinking of picking up Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival solely on the mini games, hoping that it's going to be similar to a Mario Party type game, you might be a little disappointed.
Yes, the minigames feel like an afterthought, right? They don't really have enough content to hold up on their own as a full game, with the exception of Desert Island Escape and the Quiz Show.
Yeah, a handful of the games are a lot of fun, but most you'll probably play once or twice and probably won't even come back to.
I mean, it's not to say that they're all that bad, though. Desert Island Escape, a lot of fun. There's strategy, there's multiple maps, and there's tons of villagers to play as.
Yeah.
It's our favorite game.
And don't forget the Quiz Show, especially if you're a hardcore Animal Crossing fan like we are. That one is a lot of fun and super challenging.
So, I don't think we would recommend Amiibo Festival based just on the mini games. I don't think it would warrant a full retail purchase without going into the board game.
Yeah, but that being said, we would recommend checking out part 2 of this video, where we dive right into the main feature of this game, the board game.
Now to do that, you can click right on our collection, and that'll take you right to the video, and while you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to the Nintendo Power Couple YouTube channel. We would greatly appreciate it.
So, I guess until next time,
Thanks for watching. You want to go enjoy the beautiful day?
I think I want to play some Animal Crossing.
Oh boy.